Hello, lovely little mortals, and on this fine afternoon, we have our lovely little wheat farm. And it's penciled into my schedule that we are turning the wheat here into sweet rolls that will be presented inside of here for any mortals that happen to come across. And I don't remember writing that, but I don't see much of an issue with it, so we will naturally be going about that today. And it has been tidied up. We have ourselves a lovely little bed with a lovely little observer down there, which will detect whencever someone sleeps inside of it, as well as when they get out. For that purpose, we have just a toggle in here, so we only get one pulse, and this adjustable pulse repeater then turns that into a singular second pulse, which goes into a teeny tiny little redstone link at the back there. And if we hoppity hop over here across our lovely and gold wheat farm, down here we'll see a receiver for that very same frequency of a redstone link, which then feeds into here, causing our wonderful harvester to fly off. And that is using a, not the card assembler, there you are, the controller rail. So as long as it's not receiving a signal, it serves as a stop point, and when it receives a full power signal, it flies off at full speed. Very, very convenient for moderating things like that, but let's set this off manually. And away it goes. I have expanded it just a little bit, because it seems when it is rotating like that, it can sometimes miss things that are at the very end, and as such. And now it is just happily chewing through and happily replacing any seeds that need to be picked up, and it will be all complete and done in no time whatsoever. So on the back of it, we can see the golden device there, which is our portable inventory interface. There we are. And when the one on the cart lines up with this stationary one, it will pause and it will connect. And as long as items are being pulled out of it, it will stay connected, but when that finally stops, it will disconnect and carry on its merry way. And I have put a cart assembler here with another controller rail, just in case I need to pause this thing to do any kind of maintenance or some such. And we have hooked this up to a chute, because chutes will extract items much faster than a conventional hopper will. The only downside, more or less, to a chute is that it largely only can extract items directly down. It can do a little bit of sideways action, but not a whole terribly lot. And there we are, receiving the items. Yes, quite a lot of items, actually. I also have this one up here, just in case it picks up anything else accidentally, which it evidently has. But once it's done, which shouldn't take too much more time. Oh my, that is a lot of seeds. There we go. Parked right back. No concern whatsoever. What is that? Is that? Oh yeah, some rice and some parsnip. I wonder where it picked that up. But this particular drawer here is mostly so that its cart itself does not get too full of things just by virtue of backing up on seeds. So we have a void upgrade here that destroys them, because the drawer controller will automatically place them in the first available drawer it can find. It already has some of them in for nice convenient storage purposes. It saves us having a big fancy storage system down here, which would be quite a waste, I feel, compared to the one back at the tree. But we have over 10 stacks now of wheat, and if we look up here, we can see that the farm is already busily growing back. Very nice, very nice. And the itinerary calls for sweet rolls, so sweet rolls we shall have, and that requires a bit of milk as well as bread. Bread we can get in two distinct ways. If we feed our, if we feed our wheat into a millstone or a crushing wheel, such as the one in the windmill, it will give us some flour. 1 flour minimum per wheat. It only takes 1 flour to actually create one piece of bread, so that would be a 3 times greater yield than if we were to just use wheat. We even have a 25% chance of getting even more, as well as a few more seeds, which we could filter out. It wouldn't be too much of a problem. If we then combine that wheat flour with water, such as in a mixer right here, we can get dough, which we can then smelt into our final bread that we need for the sweet rolls. But, dear mortals, you are so entertaining, but your brains are so very squishy, and I fear it might be more than a little bit daunting to talk about all of that process in this one little installment. So, instead, we're going to be going the route that makes far more sense, given how much we just managed to harvest here, which is that we are going to use the mechanical crafter. Now this will use the actual extant crafting recipes available to you in your little inventories and your little crafting tables, and will allow us to turn free wheat into 1 bread. Significantly lower yield, but given how much wheat we are manufacturing, and that this specific version of the process will not in fact incur the slight problem of having to deal with harvesting water as well as dealing with the excess of seeds generated that we're already having to deal with here, this is just a much better, a much simpler and more straightforward process to show you. And, you know, it is somewhat, believe it or not, it is somewhat the duty of a good archfey to teach the mortals how to do engineering, because you're such busy little ants. It's entertaining. It's so wonderful. It's wonderful to watch the gears turn. And so, first things first, we're going to need to get our items out of here and into a little mechanical crafter. So, one moment, and I'll have that set up. There we are, one mild tangle of conveyor belts later, I dare say. And this is in fact the intentional usage of a conveyor belt, but I personally do enjoy using mechanical belts for making sure things go in the direction that is quite necessary. Anyways, we are using a simple andesite funnel to extract our wheat one at a time, lifting it up slightly just so we don't have to dig into the floor too much around here, and then transferring it to this belt here, where they then pass over a series of smart chutes. These are fairly straightforward to make. I don't imagine you're going to have a great deal of trouble with them. Let me see, where are they? Chutes. There we are, smart chutes. As you can see, they require brass sheets, a regular chute, and an electron tube, which blessedly remains quite simple to craft. The brass sheets are similarly still very much made simply with a presser, so you shouldn't have any difficulty making these. And we have set the input of them to 1. This will mean that they will only ever hold a single item in their inventory at any given time, and they'll only output them at once, which is very good for our particular recipe, which calls for 3 of the same item. And below that, we're going to place our mechanical crafters, once again. Fairly straightforward to make, the most expensive thing, of course, being the brass, but again, that's not very difficult to make, so I don't imagine you'll have too much problem with that. But if we just place these like so that the arrows all connect over there, and do need to give it just a little bit of actual rotation, not unfortunately possible simply with a shaft, but a cogwheel will do the job just well. And over here we have a clutch that is connecting this whole assemblage to the power of our windmill over that way, which is quite an extraordinary volume of stress, so it shouldn't have any trouble here. I've also dialed it up a little bit. So let's see how it goes. And it is sending things over there, which is not necessarily the best of signs, but it does appear to be doing a jolly good job, I feel. Yes, and it's just happily manufacturing bread at a quite reasonable rate. So, our next step on our quest for sweet rolls is to combine the bread with some milk, and that is going to require that we actually connect some fluid systems to this, and hopefully that won't be very difficult either, but I will need to clear out probably a little bit of space down here, and possibly accost one of the local cows. Well, I'm sure they're not very busy anyways. Oh, 13 already, and we've hardly even put a dent in the backlog of wheat that we had. Wonderful, wonderful. Anyways, I'll set that up, and I'll meet you back here in a moment. So, first things first, let's make sure that our bread can reach from this chest all the way over to this depot, where it will then be underneath the necessary spout from which we will apply the milk. Once again, we're just using funnels for this particular purpose. It should do quite happily, going both ways, and I have a smart funnel already connected down here to pull out the sweet roll when it is ready and place it into this chest. Now, however, as we don't currently have a sweet roll to use as a filter here, I have just locked this with a redstone signal, and since we only need the exact same direction of belt here, I've just connected this once more to our main vertical belt here, which is providing the power for this belt going in the exact same direction, so it shouldn't be any trouble. And we're just waiting to see if this will properly feed. Yes, it has indeed. Perfect. Very nice. And now I just need to get some milk into here, and this will happily provide us with a sweet roll. Very simple. I'm sure you can get your head around it. Do let me know if I'm moving a little bit too fast for you. Anyways, cows. Right, I believe we're all set to go. So, around here we have now got this lovely copper piping, and that is powered by the horizontal belts that are providing our main forward thrust there, allowing us to hook everything nice and tidily up, and we should be able to place some tanks here, which will then be extracted into our central milk storage, where it will then be extracted once more into the spout. And I don't believe that the spout requires any torque or rotational input of any kind, so it should just happily produce a sweet roll there. But we are going to need, firstly, to hook this up. It should be perfectly able to reach there. Yes, very good. That will make sure that we get our milk added to the spout. And we are, of course, going to need some milk. And for that, we will require some bovine assistance. And I believe I saw a few... Is it winter already? Oh. Strange, I don't remember there being ice in this vicinity. Dreadfully out of season. Very well, if we have a milk jar, a fairly simple device, then we can use an anvil, and let's use our granite for this particular purpose. We are going to need to contain these bovines. I don't imagine it'll be too challenging to do so, but let's make sure. Go back, please. Thank you. Very good. Very good. One milk jar, please. Very good. And last but certainly not least, an anvil. And there we have a contained cow. Now a couple more of these, and we should have a fairly robust supply of milk for the production of our sweet rolls. Yes, and there's definitely a cow this time. Wonderful. There. I'm sure they'll be back for the holidays, don't worry about it. It'll be perfectly fine. Unless, of course, the dragon gets you first. Yeah, perhaps I should clarify, this looks like the work of a dragon. An ice dragon, to be precise. Such bothers they are. Anyways, now that we have our milk, we should be able to place it just conveniently here. Oh, slots in perfectly. And with that... Ah, wonderful. The first sweet roll off the line. Let's filter that and allow it to come happily through, and it should just continually work along. No concerns to be had. Very good, very good. Definitely, I do need some solution to that. Ugh, woe it is being me. But yes, very good. Haha, we have sweet rolls. So now we can convey those either by a minecart or by another mechanical belt over to the windmill, and our mortals will have some delectable little treats to deal with. Very wonderful. And I hope that you mortals have learned something today. See you later. You wouldn't give your name and credit card information to an archfey, but you can give your name and credit card information to me at patreon.com/lying, where you can get access to monthly rewards like custom audio clips, early video releases, behind-the-scenes content, and the monthly Patreon Games Day, all for as little as $1 a month. So to support future content, that's patreon.com/lying.